Welcome back to the bar, boys and girls. So today we're going to attempt to make apple cider. So what we're going to need apple juice. For the apple juice we use, you must have something that has got no preservatives in it, and it must be 100% apple juice. And the one I'm using is pressed and squeezed. You're going to need a jug to have your fermentation done in. You are going to need 1.5 cups of sugar. You are going to need 1.5 cups of water, and then you're going to need all your measuring equipment. And lastly, you're going to need some sort of airlock. So I've made myself an airlock because we are in lockdown at the moment, so you can't buy them. So I've made myself one. You can look on the internet to see how those are made. Otherwise, you can use a balloon or a glove. Just make sure you stretch it over, and that will help. The reason you need this is because during the fermentation process, you're going to have a lot of gases, and when those gases happen, your bottle will explode because you need to have a cap on to make sure no other foreign bodies comes into your mixture. So now that we're talking about the foreign bodies into your mixture, one of the key things you have to make sure when you start a brew like this is that everything is 100% clean and sterilized. So we're going to use the bottle that the sterilized water came in that we made the pineapple beer with, and we're going to use that same bottle, but we have now sterilized the bottle again, and we are going to use that bottle to then use as a fermentation vessel. So let's get started. So first of all, let's get the apple juice decanted into whatever you're going to use as your fermentation vessel. Pop it open, and you're going to just pour it in. So as we're pouring in, let's quickly discuss how much I'm making here. I'm making 4 liters because I've got two 2 liters here, and my vessel is 5 liters. So with 5 liters on the vessel, it will actually allow me on 4 liters to get a bit of headspace for the fermentation to happen. So as I go, let's pour number 2. Okay, so there we're done with pouring in the apple juice. Let's get rid of the boxes. Okay, so we've got the apple juice poured into the bottle. I've also kept a bit aside that I've put into a hydrometer so I can do a gravity test. Let's see where it is now. Give it a spin to just get rid of some of the bubbles. Okay, so our current hydrometer reading before we've added any sugar is sitting on 1.045. We're now going to add 1.5 cups of sugar in there, but in order to add the 1.5 cups of sugar, I've got some warm water where I'll add the sugar into, and that will just help dissolve the sugar a little bit quicker. So we're going to add 1.5 cups of sugar. And a half a cup, add it to the water, and you just stir this in. Let it dissolve. So you get your sugar stirred in as well as you can. Let it dissolve for a bit. Like I said, because you've got lukewarm water there, it will warm up the water in here. So you'll have to make sure that your apple mixture, the temperature must be about room temperature before you start adding your yeast. I can see there's a little bit too much juice in here, so I'm just going to pour myself a glass of juice in the meantime, so that I've got enough headspace for the fermentation and the foaming to happen. So now when you get to that, all we're now going to do is we're going to add our sugar water into our mixture. Get all that last bit of sugar in there, because that will carry on dissolving inside. The yeast eats the sugar, and that's what makes our alcohol. So we want all that sugar to be in there. Get your cap, close it up, give it a good shake. So it's been a few minutes. We've left our apple juice so that it can now get to exactly the right temperature before we add the yeast. In terms of yeast, we are going to put in 1 teaspoon of the yeast into our mixture. But before we do that, we actually just left a little bit out so that we can do our hydrometer reading before, so that we can at the end measure the two, and then you'll be able to get your end result in terms of alcohol per volume. And it is now on 1.061. So that gives us a potential alcohol of probably about 6.5 to 7%. So let's see how this will turn out, because we'll do a hydrometer reading every day to see how it progresses. Okay, so let's start with the yeast then. Get your bottle open and get yourself measuring equipment. Okay, so we've got 1 teaspoon, dump it directly in there. Once you've got your yeast in there, close it up. Give it a good shake. And then you are going to need your airlock. Now you've got your airlock on. The reason for the airlock is because your brew is going to create quite a lot of gas, and that gas needs places to escape, otherwise your bottle's going to explode. So you've got your airlock on. We're going to fill the airlock with a little bit of water. With water about halfway, and we're going to put the cap on. And we will now see over the next 3 days how this progresses, and we'll keep you on track on how that progresses, and then we'll see what the end result is. So keep watching for that. We're back. It's been 7 days, and our apple beer or apple cider has been fermenting for about 7 days. It hasn't been that hot here in South Africa, so it's been a bit slow going at the moment. But at last reading, it was about 4% alcohol, and that's where we're going to leave it, because that now has got quite a nice sweet taste to it still. If you leave it any longer, it's going to get a lot more bitter. So what we're going to do today is we are going to decant it. What we're going to need for the bottling is we're going to need our bottles again. Again, don't use glass bottles, use the plastic bottles, because it's still going to carry on fermenting a bit and still going to carry on creating a bit of gas. So make sure you use the plastic bottles so they don't explode on you. Okay, what else are we going to use? We are going to use a funnel. With the funnel, we are going to try and use an oil filter to filter our apple juice, well, to filter our apple beer, so that we don't get any of the yeast particles, anything like that, back into our bottles there. So let's try and do this without messing. There we go, first one done. Now again, as we did with the pineapple beer, we are not filling it up right to the top. We're leaving a little bit of headspace for that gas to expand, so that you can actually have a gassy drink instead of a flat drink. So number one, done. It smells absolutely delicious. So I'm quite anxious to taste this, to see what the taste is like, and see if the brew is spoiled or if it actually got a good taste as well. So now we're just going to give a taste test and a smell test. Like I said earlier on, it's still that nice apple smell, but it's also now got a little bit of a beer smell, so you can smell that it's been fermented, but you don't have that yeast smell that you had right in the beginning. So I think it really has done its job. It doesn't have the smell like a dirty drain. It actually has got a nice fruity smell. So I think this beer came out okay, but we will drink this, and if we get a big headache, then we're not going to finish the batch. Then we'll have to throw it away, because then it is a spoiled batch. But let's try this and see what it tastes like. It's got a nice apple wine taste to it almost. There's no fizz in there at the moment. We're hoping by putting it into the bottles and then standing it in the fridge for a couple of days, similar to the pineapple, it will actually then make itself a nice fizz. But you'll probably see by the end of this video if it made a fizz by tomorrow or not. So anyway guys, that's how you make yourself an apple beer or apple cider, whatever you want to call it. This one, 4% after 7 days, and it's still got a nice sweet taste. If you leave it any longer, you're going to lose that sweet taste, and it's going to become a lot more acidic, and you're now going to start going into the territory where you're starting to brew stuff that might make you sick. So I don't want to go there, so that's where I'm going to leave this brew. Once again, if you want to do anything like this, make sure you do your own research before you start it. Key things to remember: everything is 100% clean and sterile when you do it, and that you actually do your research and make sure you've got the right ingredients, and you may give it a taste, you give it a smell, you'll immediately smell if something doesn't smell right. Same with the taste. If it doesn't taste right, you don't like it, you'll know immediately. What I suggest is, like I said, drink 1 glass And if it gives you a big headache, then you know your batch is spoiled and rather chuck it away and start fresh. Either it wasn't clean enough or something had gone wrong. With regards to our hydrometer reading, we are sitting at 1.020%. We started at gravity level of 1.052 and it's now at 1.022. So that means we're probably sitting on about 4% alcohol, and that's where we want it because that gives us the taste we need compared to the alcohol level. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of videos and you want to see more of what happens in the bar or at home in terms of cooking, give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment in the comments below, ring the bell, all those lovely things. Let's open up one of the ones that we've put into the fridge right in the beginning. We open it. So by that it sounds like it did put quite a bit of gas in it. And now let's see what it tastes like. So first pour. Well, there we go. So now let's go for the true test, the taste test. Nice and gassy. This is a winner. From my point of view, this is a winner. Alright guys, that's going to be about the end of the video. But just before we end the video, let's quickly talk about alcohol. Alcohol is dangerous. Please consume responsibly. And when you brew, brew responsibly. There we go guys. So if you decide to brew something like this, once again, I'm going to urge you to go and do some research and then enjoy responsibly. Your apple cider you've just created is the perfect drink to go with the biltong that we've made in the previous video. If you haven't seen that video, click here, like this video, give the video a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment, ring that bell, and then keep exploring and keep enjoying the sun. Cheers guys!